Hello YouTube, Reddit Math here, and welcome back to the Red Estate. I've had some hard lessons lately, and I would really like to improve the morale of both the estate and myself, and with that in mind, I think we're going to fall back to things I know are capable of succeeding, and so we're going to bring out a familiar crew, this one right here, into a hopefully easier dungeon. We've got a medium apprentice mission available to us that I think will be just fine, and a solar crown, which isn't the most amazing of trinkets, but it's one that I've never seen before, so I would like to pick one up for my collection. We'll go ahead and pop into our provisioning screen, and I'm thinking like 2 full stacks of food so that we can easily make camp, and maybe like that many torches. There are walls in the cove, and I don't have a great feeling of how many yet, so we'll go with 2 of those. There's a lot of bleed coming out of there. A fair amount of uses for medicinal herbs as well. Like 2 keys, 2 holy water. That might be a little bit more than we need, but still kind of finding the right amount to dial into here, so I'd rather have more than not enough. And we'll head towards the fishfolk's scaled skin, which affords them increased resistance to bleeding attacks. Yep, that it does. So, of course, Wine, Women, and Song is probably not actually the greatest composition to be using, coming to the Cove repeatedly.
These salt-soaked caverns are teeming with pelagic nightmares. They must be flushed out.
If only due to the amount of characters that have a bleed attack and the amount of enemies down here that just don't care about bleed. But I really like this party. Like, I've got a lot of fond memories of them, and I hope that they can continue to do well here. Let's try him out with some brackish tide pools. Oh, no effect. Okay, it doesn't need holy water. It needs medicinal herbs. It needs none of the above? Well, maybe I'm not remembering that. Is that an anti-venom? Was that a nothing? Resilience heightened. Okay. Blight, bleed, disease, and debuff. I can deal with that. And a fairly simple fight right out the gate. Of course, hopefully this does not become another tale of me being incapable of hitting my opponents. Oh, God. Alright. Dazzling Light. There we go. We'll at least rob him of the ability to attack right away here, and could use that to go all the way back. Okay. I can deal with that. Do a little bit of bleed for these guys, and then Lunge will move forward 2.
Continue the onslaught.
And
Destroy
we will
them all.
We will definitely continue the onslaught. Okay. Stun there. Nice. She does get to act, and it is to bad push. Okay. Well, fine. I think our Jester will be able to end you, or at least get you close enough that can happen. You know, I guess Grape Shot Blast does a little bit of damage to the Deep Stinger, and then we do get the opportunity to act first. Let's try for a Shadow Fade and hope for the stun. It does not happen, though. That could do 5 to 8. That does 8 to 12.
Give them no quarter.
And gets us a round of applause.
This expedition at least promises success.
We may have found out what happened to Savigny's ring. It somehow made its way to the Cove, and we are certainly going to be coming back with it. Let's go ahead and get these guys lined back up in their proper positions and march on. It'll last 2 more rounds. Ugh. Hopefully this is an empty room. It is. Still gonna last 2 more rounds. That doesn't clear anything moving through a room. That is news to me. Alright, let's at least try
As the fiend
to get rid of
falls,
him.
a faint hope blossoms.
And a sea maggot with a stun. Awesome. And then these guys could just maybe focus. Really? 1 to 2? 75% protection? I guess maybe that does make sense. Well, we'll focus on bleeding him then. Maybe we could get another stun here. We can. Okay, great. Great. Things are going well. I can calm myself. This is not the champion dungeon. This is not...
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
This is not some place that is going to be absolutely annihilating us constantly. I don't want to disrupt the formation, but at the same time, I have very little else to be doing here. Brine, huh? Ew. Well, that was a relatively disgusting looking attack. Jeez. 2 damage. Resisted.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
At least maces are good at cracking open shells. Alright, that is the party comp we want. We're okay on light. Already been looted. Okay. And a crate with some stashed heirlooms. We are actually at the point, crests are the only thing I need now. So that actually puts me in a fairly good position for coming back with more gold than I have been able to return with in the past. We could stun here, but I'd like to not move her back. I've had at least one time where I led with the stun, and it puts the Jester in kind of a poor position. Might even consider 4th rank Jester, 3rd rank Vestal. I need to check what the Jester can do from the 3rd and 4th ranks. U. Double U. Suddenly stress has become a much larger concern for me than it used to be. Especially after our run-ins with the Necromancer Lord. No, Harvest can only be used from 2nd or 3rd. Okay. Well, go ahead and spread a little bit more bleed on no one that it matters for. Yeesh. Please cut that out. 1 damage for 2 turns. I could get rid of it. Is it worth getting rid of? Let's just do this instead. Toxin Trickery will mean that he bleeds out before he's able to do any more harm to our party. We can soak up a stressful incantation without too much trouble. And then, Dazzling Light can't get back there. Okay. Well, a stun there means that this point-blank shot is maybe a little bit of overkill. A Grape Shot Blast would have been awesome in that situation, but not available for us. So instead, we'll solo here. And then that can get rid of both of those. She'll slide forward. And then a few more. Ooh. I think that that sound effect sounds like it might have gotten a little bit of touch-up. I know one thing I had noticed and recently kind of got an answer to was some of the new voice dialogue, some of the new sound effects with the Cove didn't sound quite as polished to me as previous things did. I'm going to take the time to buff here, as she is basically no danger whatsoever. We can buff and heal. She'll be stunned, and then a single tracking shot will be enough. So they didn't sound quite as polished to me as...
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
As some of the other lines did. One thing I have been trying to make as often as I could, and a few of them were canceled due to PAX, is the live stream of Power Up Audio, where they do the like sound design stuff live on stream for upcoming content in the game. You know, it's usually not stuff you've already seen before. And the last one was on this past Thursday.
Spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Where it was basically mentioned that you know, some of the content that was put in for the patch, they knew was going to be getting another pass.
The ground quakes.
And that it was not going to be the final version that was going to go into the game. And so it maybe didn't get the same degree of touch-up that other stuff has. I actually watched them do some of that touch-up last week, and it is incredible what they're able to do when it comes to tweaking sound. I quite honestly envy it.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
As, you know, I like to think that...
The match is struck.
Yeah.
A blazing star is born.
You know what? Let's swap those. One more torch is probably more less valuable than 500 from an emerald. So I like to think that the sound on my channel is good, is tolerable at least. It might not be quite professional grade. There are some LPers out there that sound great, and I don't think it's just their voice sounds super amazing, but I do think that their sound quality sounds great. And I'm not in any kind of studio environment or anything that would afford me excellent sound. I don't have even any kind of like foam or anything like that up. I'm just in an office doing my thing. But hearing what Power Up Audio is able to do with like an RX4 plugin to Wayne June's dialogue is just, you know, staggering sometimes. Certainly that is not to say that Wayne June is not an extremely talented voice talent. Okay, that is a buff I do not love. But it is to say that the... Okay. That the efforts of... man. Oh, great. He's guarding him and he's guarding him. It is to say that the sound designers should not be overlooked when it comes to giving credit where it is due. Now, I think this works the way I'm about to use it, so I stunned him.
The way is lit.
Yes.
The path is clear.
Okay.
You require only the strength to follow it.
And this was actually something changed in one of the hot fixes this week. So when the guarding enemy was stunned, he stops guarding. Like he can no longer absorb those blows, which is a little bit of a nerf to the way that guard worked. Man, but primarily the protection buff is probably what these guys were getting out of it more than anything else. Maybe I should be focusing on the guy doing all of the buffing here. Two, huh? Okay. Well, I'm thinking... Okay, they're both stunned. Let's go ahead and toss out a Dazzling Light to the back, rob him of a turn, get a little bit of damage on him. We need to do 6 to this guy and 1 to this guy. Alright. Let's try for it. We got the stun. That is actually kind of surprising. This should get a kill. He resisted the bleed, though. We'll just try for another stun here. Okay. This is going fairly well, as I expect that attack to, honestly, to have done more damage than it did there. It's okay. It's okay. Just try for the other stun. It's all she could really do there, and she does actually get it, although I don't think it's going to be necessary. Oh, it actually turned out to have been necessary. Alright, we'll throw out a heal here. Oh, nice. Back to full HP. And then a tracking shot. Awesome. Gets the 1 damage, and that's all we need.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Alright, we do not need these heirlooms. Hoping? That's not a word. I'm hoping that this dizzying fall that he talked about does not come. The fish idol. We'll holy water this. It's not the greatest buff. It's only lasting for 3 turns. That apparently, the same buff that was on the suit of armor, and I've spoken about before, and...
Another mariner, another misfortune.
And I've spoken about how little good that actually does me. Apparently that is a bug.
The light, the promise of safety.
Those are both supposed to be lasting until the next camp, and it's just malfunctioning right now. So that is expected to get... Blah. Okay, they are surprised. That is something. That is expected to get changed, which I'm glad to hear, because otherwise those 2 curios were basically just worthless. She's going to try for the stun there. So let's have her throw out a dazzling light here. And then hopefully we only take 1 incoming attack. Oh, we didn't get the stun. That's not good. Maybe I should have hedged my bets there. Alright, we dodged the shocker and a barnacle barrier. Well, I'm not thrilled by his protection buff. Not thrilled by that either. Ugh. Oh, okay. Well, apparently they had the same idea that we did. Just stun them all. Let God sort it out. Alright, throw one at him. These 2 guys are going to see lead sorting them right out. That's really all we could do here. Get a little bit of damage on him. Get a little bit more damage on him. And then just start cycling through people, apparently.
By inches.
Lovely. Try for another stun. Don't get it with him. Okay. All we can do from back here is Grape Shot Blast. Ugh. Octocestus, I hate you. Alright, a critical Octocestus was the thing that precipitated the loss of our Hellion one time. That does not make me super thrilled. Alright, we got a stun back on him though. So we'll throw out a heal here while we can. And again, all we've got is Grape Shot Blast. I really think these Guardians need a little bit of tweaking. This is just nice. This is not a fun battle.
Foolish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
You know, when you have to sit there attacking something with like 60% protection round after round, the fight is kind of already determined, right? Like, it is extremely unlikely. I guess we'll just... Ooh, never mind. Alright, without the holy water, we apparently want to avoid that. It is not quite the same as the suit of armor, which, even without something to use on it, is still good for you. That quickly turned bad. Okay, you know what? We'll just eat 2 of those. We'll pop that torch. And then we've got enough space for all of that stuff. Okay. Oh, that did not wear off in time, but they're surprised. Man. Okay, it did wear off in time. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Hopefully we can get this guy. Oh, wow. Resisting all the stuns.
Devastating blow.
One last try. Okay, thank you. We still have to deal with these guys. Blanket fire has a tendency to be rather devastating. And the cutthroat is no joke. Ouch. Alright. At 17. More blanket fire. Good dodges all around. Okay. That could have been a lot worse. Let's just do some of this, followed by some of that. And, man, he got to act again. Oh, his point-blank shot, not as good as our point-blank shot, though. Oh, and Dazzling Light can't reach the back. Okay. Well, in that case, we'll just use this turn to heal. This guy is sorted, so let's actually Tracking Shot into the back. This will work out nicely, as we can Flashing Daggers here.
A monster's size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
So that line means it doesn't matter if you're really big, unless bleeding a whole lot is a good thing. Except really fancy words put into its place. At least that was my interpretation. Move stone. Move stone would be a little bit valuable. Maybe more than, like, 600? 600, huh? We have way too much food. Let's see if we can maybe get rid of a stack of food. Try to confirm my theory on whether or not we immediately get hungry after that. And we'll move on. Okay. Contents are ours. Any hunger checks through the rest of the hallway? No? Alright, fair enough. And a good scout would be excellent right now. That's not really what I'd call a good scout. I believe we just want to check this out. How do we get Wheeled Tactician? Oh man, damage and scouting in the Wheeled. Omond, we are wasting your time here in the Cove, lady. Alright. Bust that down. Get a little bit more torchlight going. And otherwise a quiet hallway. Scouting doesn't really mean that much to me when we're in a dungeon where all we can do is march forward. Huh. That hunger check seems to have come really right on the heels of us finally eating here. I swear, man, it can't just be me, right? Like, that happens a little bit too frequently, in my opinion. That you are never hungry until you eat something, and then you start to get hungry. Nothing we really want to do with our equipment. We'll just step inside. You know, I've got to fight. Not the worst thing. A lot of people have been complaining about the groupers. Probably more complaining about the piranha when they are level 6. Saying that, like, 4 of these guys are the hardest fight down here. I really, I didn't find it that way. I felt like these guys were on par with, like, a cultist brawler. But nothing really that strong. They've got good dodge and deal a decent amount of damage, but they don't really have enough HP to stick around and pose a giant threat or anything. Okay, a little bit of stress. That's fine. Yeah, we can clean their clocks pretty easily. Ooh, she resisted that, huh? Well, fine then. You just resist that, why don't you? We will do nothing to him. I was going to say we will try to keep him out of the fight, though. I mean, spearfishing is not something to be ignored, but it's not super devastating. I would say the skeletal spearmen that you find in the ruins, they scare me a whole lot more than those guys do. Alright. And we're able to take it all.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Alright. I'm hoping to mount some more victories. The resistance be damned. Really, keys don't do anything to this. Okay, I guess we just open it? Interesting. A little bit of food. And some more holy water. Alright. Nice. We're down here to complete 100% of room battles, so we know we can't have nothing but empty rooms ahead of us. There is bound to be some danger eventually. And it looks like it's going to be 2 rooms ahead where that danger comes. Oh, I can't check. We haven't scouted the final hallway, but what are the odds that we're going to need 4 shovels? We're finding a lot of shovels, actually, down in the cove. It is kinder in that regard than the Weald ever was. I'd say did we only need 1? We brought 2, but we picked up at least 2. So we could have come down here with none and still come out okay. I think that's the lesson to be learned down here. I still have yet to make any sort of fancy chart describing all the curio interactions for me. One of these days, maybe this weekend, I will get around to finally doing that. And then I will not seem so clueless when it comes to interacting with things in the dungeon.
Well struck.
Oh, that is huge. If I can take this guy down early on... They're really focusing on her and stress. I'll at least keep this guy from buffing his own protection, which should mean down to 4. He is going to die. Awesome. Alright, some decent incoming damage. Oh, man, quite a bit of bleed, actually. But otherwise, just a lot of misses. Is a heal worthwhile here? Let's go with yes, especially since they've already acted for the turn. Okay, he'll bleed out before he does anything else. So you know what? Let's get fancy with it. What could we do? We could stun him, move back 1. He can then do that. Wow, the crit got rid of his corpse, actually. That's kind of nice. Good dodge. Not as good of a dodge, but her stress was otherwise at 0. So literally, the only person taking stress down here has been Dudley, and she's at 62, which is just mind-boggling when you stop and think about it, that she's taken so much. Let's pass out. A dazzling light at the front rank. My reasoning behind it being, I actually do not want to push the Jester all the way to the front. And both the Jester, oh lovely, the Jester and the Grave Robber had good, like, mid-rank attacks. So that guy did not need to be stunned nearly as much as this guy did. Oh, sweet. He'll bleed out.
The weapon that cuts on its own.
And we can easily spend a turn or 2 making everything better. Grape Shot Blast there. He's down to 5. Stun on top of a stun? Yeah. That doesn't really do anything, by the way. But he's dead, and so it doesn't matter.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Oh, I don't need reminding, but I did need the confidence boost. And that is going to be it for combat down here as we've scouted this final hallway. But I'm going to, at the very least, head up to our last curio and see if there's anything inside. Control-Shift-Click.
Terrors may indeed stalk these shadows, but yonder, a glint of gold.
And we got just a little bit of gold there. Oh, why did I leave?
Odor abates.
That was silly of me.
Things are driven back for a time.
I had meant, like only all of 10 seconds ago, to head into the final room and camp there for the stress reduction. And then I completely forgot about it. Oh, that's quite silly. Okay. Things went pretty well, though. Slugger is nice. Irrepressible is okay. And Enlightened doesn't really bother me too much. These guys are all at 5 of 8. Go ahead and come back to the town. I guess I had gotten so excited that I just couldn't wait for a campfire,
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Okay. Rock went to the sanitarium. Vare, Vipont, and Poyer all just did some stress reduction in the Abbey. Vipont, while praying, saw a glimpse of greater beings controlling his destiny and became God-fearing. Okay. Well, fair enough. Ooh, I like that. Has that always left many a fishman slain in the depths of the cove? Had it always had that little bit of flavor? I did not remember. I want to pop in here really quick to see this. The captivating siren is now available down here. Okay. Well, I tell you what. That's interesting. The Dark Racer has been redesigned quite a bit. I don't know if I'm going to do this the next turn. I might want to take that same crew out one more time into one more medium mission. Get them all to level 2 so they can get the associated buffs from being level 2. Also, Dudley, your stress is looking a little high. We might have to head somewhere else next week. But those will be decisions that I can make off camera. All in all, things went pretty well. I did make a pretty stupid mistake there at the end with not de-stressing Dudley, which would have made her totally able to head out next week with no big problems or considerations to make at all. Instead, that is going to be a choice that kind of weighs on my mind. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode still. If you did, feel free to subscribe for more videos on the channel every single day. Leave a like or a comment if you have anything to say about this or any of my other episodes, and I will catch you guys next time.